Hi and good afternoon. My name is Dustin Fulmer, and I appreciate the opportunity to discuss some of the interview results that I had with the business professional around the importance of working in teams and team communication. Let's jump over the agenda. So during this presentation, I will be introducing the business professional who has a deep history of leading collaborative teams. I will be sharing some of the statistics in a few different areas along with the responses from the interviewee to get his perspective on how he enables his teams to collaborate. There will be several responses from this business professional that will corroborate the data, as well as some different approaches he uses to incentivize and increase effective collaboration. I will then provide a brief summary of the interview and share some recommendations that I learned. For this interview, I chose to connect and conduct with Colby Nelson. Colby is currently the Vice President of Information Technology at MGIS. MGIS is a national insurance program manager providing disability insurance that doctors, dentists, and other healthcare professionals can take advantage of. Prior to moving over to MGIS, Colby was the director of IT at Xactware. He was also a manager of platform services at Advanced MD. Over the past 12 years, Colby has held the responsibility of managing, creating, and enabling team environments. I personally felt that he would be someone that could be direct and provide insights on both his leadership style and effective collaboration. Colby also attained his computer science degree from Weber State University. So first, I wanted to start off by sharing some statistics that I was able to find during my research as it relates to the importance of working in teams. I shared the first survey statistic from the expert market around the importance of effective workplace communication. I shared that with Colby and shared with him that 125 CEOs and decision makers polled as to why they feel that there are workplace or failures in the workplace. According to the poll, 86% blame the lack of collaboration is contributing to these failures. I then posed a question to Colby on what his perspective is on this during the time that he led teams as well as being part of a team. Colby shared that this is indeed a significant barrier that companies are faced with. Many of the most important decisions that are being made are coming from internal meetings where several leaders have a voice. If these voices are not collaborating or keeping everyone on the same page, it will be extremely difficult to move any business forward. He also goes on to state that it is up to every leader to create and enable the collaboration environment with the emphasis of sharing how important the collective agreement or buy-in is critical to any company's success. I then shared with Colby a statistic that I found in an online article called 35 Plus Compelling Workplace Collaboration Statistics in 2022, The Importance of Teamwork. According to this article, about 75% of employees in the United States rate teamwork and collaboration as being important. I asked him what his approach is to enabling and creating a collaborative environment for his team based on the high statistics I shared. Colby shared that he has a hard time delegating responsibilities. This has in fact been something that he's been working on. Rather than taking the lead on his own, he has decided to delegate some of these key projects to a few well thought out constructed teams. He has immediately recognized that some of the project timelines have been decreased by 12 to 14%. This also will enable team members to allow for cross-training experiences. Colby will also bring in people that have low skills or are working on skills or working on developing a skill or refining new ones into these project teams. The last statistic that I shared with Colby around the importance of working in teams also comes from the 35 Plus Compelling Workplace Collaboration Statistics 2022, The Importance of Teamwork. It states that 17% of employees are more satisfied with their job when they engage in collaboration at work. Colby absolutely agreed and thought that percentage should and could be much higher. I asked him to explain his perspective on job satisfaction from his team based on all the work that he has done to enable a collaborative environment. He shared that one of the most critical outcomes that he has seen is that the camaraderie that has been developed from his team due to working on something that is critical to the business, and in fact, everyone knows understands what is expected, has really shown proven results. So moving on in the interview, I wanted to shift over to the topic of effective communication with teams and whether or not Colby disagrees, agrees with some of the survey statistics. I then wanted to understand how he perceives effective communication with his current approach. I shared the following statistic that, according to Pumble, a team communication hub I found online, it states that teams who effectively communicate in the workplace could see as much as a 25% increase in their productivity. I then asked Kobe if he agreed with that stat and why. He went on to share that effective communication is the heartbeat of every organization and the successes that they have. There is a reason why employees are called upon to leverage their skills for the bigger than themselves approach. He goes on to share that he believes that there is no such thing as over-communicating. I then posed the question to him of what his preferred and most effective approach to communication was. He immediately blurted out and said, "It always has and always will be face-to-face." The face-to-face communication is never one-sided. It also allows him to see the individual's facial expressions and body language should he need to have future conversations that may be critical in the future. The eye-to-eye contact is important to him because he can get his point across and get that visual confirmation the information was received. I also wanted to get his perspective on another statistic as it relates to poor communication. Again, this statistic comes from the expert market around the importance of effective workplace communication, where 125 CEOs and decision makers were polled. Okay. I shared with Kobe that 28% of employees cite poor communication is the contributing factor for not being able to deliver work on time. He again thought that statistic was a little low, but agreed that limited or less effective communication has hindered his team's ability to be productive and hit their deadlines. I asked that what has been the biggest contributing factor, and he shared that there are several tools like email, Slack, and Teams and Zoom that have not been widely adopted. With the shift to more of a remote work environment, these methods of communications have become more important now than they ever have been previously. I then asked a follow-up question as to how he is currently effectively managing communication with his team for productivity if the ability to have face-to-face conversation is non-existent. I shared with him the statistic that nearly 70% of the workforce could be more productive with effective communication implemented. Kobe immediately responded and said it is important for him to leverage all the existing tools, but also find one common tool that they could rely on as a team to keep everyone informed. He went on to share that he recently implemented daily team stand-ups. This 15-minute live and Zoom meeting allows each team member to share what they are working on and if there's any help needed. This allows Kobe to share any critical information he's received with the group as well. After he's done with the meeting, he will usually send a follow-up email recapping the meeting details. He said this has been quite effective based on the feedback he received from his team. The final topic of the interview that I wanted to get Kobe's perspective on was about what type of leader he is and the culture he and his company creates for teams to collaborate effectively. I then shared the following statistics from a study done by Gartner, is that only 31% of employees can say that their leaders promote an inclusive environment. I asked Kobe what his approach to create an inclusive environment is for his team. He said that it is important as a leader to make everyone on his team be part of something and take ownership. As he continued to explain, Kobe mentioned that he created a mentorship program at his previous employer where he could bring others from different business areas that were looking for career change and partner up with them with a mentor to help accelerate that knowledge transfer. He created a technology personnel pipeline, taking the less experienced employees and putting them on a career path to success. He truly felt like bringing these individuals in, as well as enabling his teams to become more of a mentorship program, allows them to be included and help the overall business grow. I then shared the following statistic from an online article, the 35 plus compelling workplace collaboration statistics. It states that the employees who work for collaborative companies are 22% more likely to believe that their employer cares about morale. I then asked Kobe what are the areas that he puts most in his effort into morale of his team. Kobe shared that he is a big proponent of recognition, either individual or as a team. Celebrating the small and big wins as a team has helped with uplifting morale. Kobe also mentioned that he is a big fan of incentive programs. If he can use his own budget or if the company has made it available, he will take advantage of that. I finally asked Kobe what he does if efforts are not working, and then shared the following statistic from an online blog from Clear Company which is 7 workplace collaboration statistics and advice, that 90% of employees who responded in a survey believe that decision makers should seek other opinions before making a final decision. Yet 40% of employees believe that decision makers consistently fail to seek another opinion. I then proceeded to ask him about how and if he welcomes feedback from the team on how he might implement change. Kobe is a big proponent of getting feedback from his team about what is working and what is not only with collaboration, but with all aspects of the business. He wants to make sure that the team is bought into the process or make suggestions where areas could be considered areas of change. He believes if the team has a say, the changes will be welcome and eventually become more effective. So at the conclusion of this interview, I came to the realization of some of these certain areas that employee productivity and morale is directly related to an effective communication strategy, communication process implemented at work. More leaders also need to promote more inclusive environment to maintain employee morale, and workplace failures are directly related to the lack of collaboration within the workplace. I also had a few recommendations that I shared with Kobe. I shared with him a couple of days later that I thought it was important to focus on opportunities to create more effective collaborative events. I also shared with him that it's important to look to have leadership take advantage of trainings to help them with communications and inclusiveness, assuming that they're not currently taking training or getting educating on how to include more people. I thought that was important for him to consider. I'll also finally enable employees to provide feedback and look for ways to take on leadership opportunities to enable them to find ways to be able to contribute and to see kind of what it's like to be in action. So these are kind of what I came up with from this interview. It was a really good interview. I really enjoyed my time with Kobe. We spent about 35 minutes together in his home office, and I appreciated his openness and him sharing how he approaches this. So with that said, I wanted to finally share the references that I used in all these data and statistics that I shared with Kobe as well as during this presentation. Thank you for your time, and I appreciate it.